welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just got back from Nationals. It's Adam Clement.
Wait, what was I doing at Nationals?
You were flying a plane.
A biplane, yes.
Yeah, you're a
yes,
pilot.
Absolutely. Yes, I was saved by a mysterious man in a jetpack while I was conducting my duties as a flying clown.
Now, you haven't flown ever. What made you
not once.
think that you could be a flying clown?
Well, look, I mean, my buddy Cliff, right? He was on a date with a broad, and I just, I made a complete ass of myself in front of him, and I thought, hey, I got to save this guy's job because he had a bit of a rough show last time he went in the air, so this is my way of paying him back. And lo and behold, I ended up goofing that up too. So out of nowhere, this guy comes around. I don't know who it is. He's got a jetpack on. He got a funny helmet. Comes up right between my crotch and the biplane. I think I'm dying. I'm seeing guys' heads in my lap. This guy ends up showing me the way out, and here I am today.
Now, how did you feel when you came so close to that oil, truck, the gasoline truck exploding? Did you feel the heat?
Oh, I felt the heat, baby. I'm just happy to be alive.
Now, are you paying off that plane since you're the one who decided to take it out? Is there insurance? What's the deal?
Well, the thing with that is the particulars are being worked on. My lawyer's talking to their lawyers. But, what's important is that I'm alive. And, who would begrudge one of their life in the aftermath of property damage and the like? So as far as I'm concerned, insurance will take care of it.
Now, I have a question. You when you went up there, you weren't Adam, right? You were Biff the Clown. So how did that name come about?
Well, I'm a really big fan of Back to the Future, so this is my way of paying homage to one of cinema's classic goofs.
Can I ask you a question?
You wouldn't stop you.
What's Bill Paxton's name in Weird Science? Chet?
I think it's Chet. Yeah, it's Chet.
I just answered my own question.
Yeah, it's a perfect name for that character, really. You talk about casting and character coming together in perfect harmony, then you could talk about the script having just the right name. That's just a wonderful serendipitous Venn diagram of things coalescing.
I mean, that's a perfect name. Like, can you think of any other perfect names for movies?
For movies?
Yeah.
For movies or movie characters?
Like movie characters that have perfect names.
That's hard to think about on the spot. I don't know. As far as villains are concerned, Chet's great because, right, it's like the 2019 Chad, right? Chet is just that, it reeks of privilege. He probably owns a few sweater vests. He's probably an asshole. And that's, I don't know if that's the character in that movie necessarily, but it applies to so many different types of jerks in a way that doesn't get used that often, which I guess is kind of the point, because what monster of a parent names their kid Chet, sort of setting himself up for failure.
Now, what about Frank from Hot Rod, played by everyone's favorite Ian McShane, the stepdad?
See, when you say that, and I'm glad you mentioned that example, because when I think of the name Frank, I think of Frank Booth, right? The Dennis Hopper villain of Blue Velvet. But now that you mention it, Frank is a good sort of catch-all, right, for that sort of gruff, maybe not villain necessarily, but sinister or authoritative figure, kind of in the way Jack is used as this independent, strong male pro tag, right?
Jack Skellington, Jack Sparrow,
Jack Burton,
Jack Bauer.
There's a lot of Jacks. I was always very resentful of my father because his name is Jack, and I was like, God, he took the name. No, I can't be Jack. But that's neither here nor there. That's for my Thursday appointments. Wait, is it Thursday? It's Thursday!
So tell me how you feel. How's it been this week?
Well, I just can't get over after 32 years of living that my father's name is Jack. It's the name I wanted.
Now, in the last session, you were telling me that you're really angry at your parents for them taking away your Michael Myers knife and the butcher knife you stole. I mean, are you still angry about that, or did we kind of talk it out?
I'll just say this. The neighborhood is still very upset and asking for where is Michael, because that was my thing, right? Every Halloween, take a walk. Take a walk around the neighborhood in the outfit. It's just a ritual. Maybe I'm not trick-or-treating. Maybe I'm not handing out candy. Just take a walk. I'm not bothering anybody. And yet Mom's like, oh, that's dangerous. You got to give me that knife. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to hurt anyone. It's just for show.
Yep. And
so
what about
you still got
what?
Oh, I still got neighbors asking them where'd he go, and it's been like 15 years. But if she wants to give me my knife back, maybe I'll come home.
Just kept walking. And I'm amazed that you had someone with a Panaglide filming every Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it's done, baby. John Carpenter knows what he wants.
Now, another perfect name is Neville Sinclair.
It is, and it's even better than the very very obvious inspiration for the character and Errol Flynn.
Oh yeah, I mean they almost recreate scenes from Robin Hood.
Yeah, I mean the whole movie, which I will not get into at depth because this is the intro, but yeah, the historical fiction element is so fun with this movie because it's like, yeah, Neville Sinclair, that's a great name, but it's like that's so clearly supposed to be Errol Flynn running around as Peter Pan, or not Peter Pan, excuse me, Robin Hood.
Yep, and very athletic too, just like Errol Flynn. I watched. Yep. So I wrote an article about who's the most accurate archer for Rotten Tomatoes, and I watched the Robin Hood movie again. Errol Flynn.
Wait, which one? The original one. Eh?
Yeah. There was a black and white one which I watched. I watched the original black and white, and then I watched the other one, the Robin Hood, the one with Errol Flynn, the Adventures of Robin Hood.
I don't remember.
He was an athletic fella.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of his shtick, right? He was sort of the Buster Keaton of his time. He was just really known for being nimble and maybe he was a gymnast or something. I don't know. He was pretty good with a sword. Now,
during this movie, I did get flashbacks because I worked on a lot of film sets. Cliff shows up to the film set. You've heard closed set before.
It's a closed set.
Hey, ladies in waiting, we're waiting. So I was an extra for a while. I never plied my. That was never a full-time gig. I would take jobs when I wasn't working on sets just to kind of meet people.
When they needed tall, handsome, Scandinavian-looking gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right. One time I was told that I was too Californian. So I was on a TV show and I was going to be like a featured bailiff.
Okay.
And really featured. And the guy looks at me and goes, "To California." And I'm like, what does that mean? But I guess I looked.
You have blonde features. You have a chiseled jaw. You have that sort of man about town vibe to you, perhaps.
I was wearing a sweater vest over my cop outfit.
Along with the "My name is Chet" sticker.
Biff. He said to that. But I did play a swim coach on.
That fits.
Teen
you definitely
Wolf.
Look very swim coach.
And dude, I remember one time they're like, "Hey, we got a swim coach. Should he get a line?" And I didn't even know what that meant yet, and that would have been a big payday. And they considered it for a while. Then they're like, "Nah, we don't need it." But I almost got like a big payday on like my first featured extra gig.
What could have been?
Yep.
Their loss.
One of these days I'll do a top 10 extra roles that I had.
I would love that. Please do that.
Yeah, I had a good wine pouring bit in American Reunion. But
whoa, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and the ADR dialogue into my mouth. So I'm going, "Tell me when."
That's so cool.
And then when Tara Reid comes to the party, I'm the person she's talking to. And
Are you really?
Yeah, and then but you can't really see me. You just see her talking to people.
Sure.
And then I was in an Odd Life of Timothy Green a lot.
That's so cool.
You saw my following one, maybe. I carried this in the pilot episode of The Following. Kevin Bacon's breaking a guy's hand. I run in there and I drag a serial killer out.
I haven't. You need to link me that.
Yeah, and then Resurrection, I dragged Omar Epps out of a room after he got knocked unconscious.
Omar Epps?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did. I was a dead peacekeeper in Hunger Games.
Dude, I don't even know you.
I had a lot more. I was in Three Stooges. I was a party goer.
Yes, the Will Sasso vehicle.
Yeah, I got some good. I'm around on that. There's a lot more, man. I can't even remember.
You're gonna have to send me your sizzle reel.
I can't even find any of them.
Can you make one?
I don't. Time. I don't know if I want to do it.
Instead, here you are talking to me about.
And everyone's gonna hear it, so I basically want people to know about it.
Sure.
But I love the bits of Hollywood in this, and it kind of reminded me of Hail Caesar a little bit, even though Hail Caesar, which doesn't make sense. But I love reading about the kind of old timey Hollywood. And when Cliff broke on set, and then he was like, "Hey, is Jenny here?" I'm like,
"Yeah."
Yo,
talk about the most
Cliff.
boneheaded thing you could possibly say. And at one point, I was like, you know what? Cliff is a great protag because he's got all the masculine features you want in a traditional Hollywood hero, but he's just the right amount of fumbling. And at that point, he almost goes over the edge. It's like, God damn it, Cliff. Too much. Now,
Jenny, played by Jennifer Connelly, she was only 20 when she made this movie. And how good is she in this movie?
I don't know. I can't answer that at the risk of sounding like a complete just
I'm talking
terrible
about
person.
acting.
I'm keeping it on the craft, but you're right. For a young actress, she's very good in it. But that's also by virtue, right, of the character. She plays a young, starry-eyed actress who is trying to obviously break her way into the industry, and she's seduced, of course, by Neville Sinclair. And you meet her in the beginning, and she's reading for parts that may not have many lines, and you immediately understand through her affectations what she's about and who she is immediately, and that's a sign of her talent there.
But after watching this movie so much, you pick up the little things of her, like when technically you're always acting, but she adds things to it that don't feel like acting; they feel like natural. And I mean, imagine you and I at 20 years old trying to do a similar role.
I don't want to. I was in a rough shape at 20 years old, but I'll tell you, it's a good point, because what is that beautiful, perfect line that the director uses on set? He goes, acting is acting like you're not acting.
Yeah.
So act like you're not acting. It's something to that effect. And I just thought that was what a wonderful encapsulation of the craft, right? Like, me as a nobody, certainly I don't know anything about that beyond method.
He's probably a first AD.
Right, yeah, exactly. He's not even like the director.
Yeah. That's the guy who deals with all the stress. I love it.
Sure.
Yeah, I know you. Sorry, I interrupted you there. I was thinking about the poor stressed out first AD. He should have had a bottle of Pepto in his hand. That'd have made him more believable.
Did they have Pepto in like the 1940s, 50s?
The equivalent.
Oh, okay.
They just called it pink water, and no one knew what was in it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I'm sure they had something in the 40s.
Yeah, but they also had a lot of bad stuff in the 40s.
Gin.
I mean, yeah, gin's
late
not
30s. I guess late 30s. But I mean, yeah, it makes me want to talk more about movies. But this movie, actually, I got a good question. This will lead us into something. And so we got a very good question from our longtime listener. Actually, he just joined the podcast. Wait, no, this is going out before the podcast. No, yes, Dragged Across Concrete came out before this one. I got them all mixed up. But this is a question from Johnny Num. And he asks, the first one is multiple choice or fill-in with the smiley face. At the time, the film was a flop for Disney. Interesting that years later, director Joe Johnston would go on to helm the first Captain America, which shares many themes with the Rocketeer. Do you attribute its box office failure to A, the obscurity of the titular character, who is not as well known as his Marvel and DC brethren, the fact that it looked too far into the past World War II to connect with the target PG-rated demographic in 1991, the fact that the lead is simply a human with a special rocket pack, and lacks the exceptional otherworldly traits of, say, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, or even Batman, or something else. If it were re-released or remade today, do you think it would do better from a financial standpoint, as we're currently in a superhero renaissance?
Where to start? First of all, I don't know if we're doing some sort of Batman Begins intro to this where we don't say the name until the very end, but we're talking about the Rocketeer for anybody who actually doesn't know by now. And I guess I'm going to take the lead on this one at least. I think it's mostly the first two. I think it's a lot of different factors. I do think that the movie was ahead of its time for better and worse, right? It was coming out sort of after Batman, right? But that was a very big superhero movie, and I think people had expectations for what they wanted in action movies. That said, it's not like we couldn't make, an old-timey serial. But when you had something like Indiana Jones, you had the star power of Harrison Ford. I don't know how many people really knew who this protag was. This oh gosh, please help me jog my memory with the actor's name.
Billy Campbell.
Billy Campbell, yeah. Who, to his credit, he looks like he just walked right off a comic book. He's got every chiseled feature you could want. But I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I think the time period is one, and it doesn't have that baked-in fan base. Like, this is actually, I think Dave Stevens is the creator. This is based on his comic graphic novel, so it is technically from a comic book, but it doesn't have, it's not Batman, it's not Superman. It doesn't have that audience that's going to be there on day one of opening. So I do think it's a mix of factors. I do think you're seeing somebody in a sort of silly outfit, which I don't think is silly at all, but, they got a backpack that's jetpack, and you got this impossibly iconic helmet, which, out of context does look a little ridiculous, but to us, I think history has been much kinder to it. So I just think it was one of those things where people going to look at it and go, huh, what? And maybe it was the 1940s, 50s setting, what have you, the Howard Hughes fictional history element that just didn't draw people in. I think it was a lot of different things.
And add to the fact that it was sandwiched in between it was sandwiched in between Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Terminator 2.
Yeah, it's
So,
decidedly different action fare.
It's like, but do you think there could have been some fatigue? Like, man, I was just at the movie theater watching Robin Hood, because that's kind of the demographic, right? Like
It is, yeah. You're not going to have too many kids, which is a shame because this movie, and it's not its fault. It's hitting on a lot of different demos, right? It could easily appeal to kids. You've got even the little girl in the movie, and you got stand-ins for the young audience going, "Go Rocketeer, saves the day," blah blah blah. You root for him at a lot of moments, but you've also got the Nazis, right? Like it's like, what kind of movie is this for? Is this really for history buffs? Is this for people who long for the old serials of the 1940s, 50s? So I think the problem it was for a lot of different people. It wasn't for necessarily one type of person, which I think at the time, early 90s, it isn't like the superheroes of today, which, let's be real, are made for just about everybody now because they can. They've taken their time and people have been introduced to these bigger, wider worlds. This was, I'm sure they had grander plans for a franchise, but let's be real, this might as well have been a bottle episode.
Yeah, and also if you think about it too, you have the audience, the World War II, the history buffs. But then they're like, it's a PG-rated Disney movie, right?
Right. How real can you possibly be with it?
Yeah. So then they don't want to see it, and then you have the kids who they love knowing that Timothy Dalton's a Errol Flynn knockoff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And there isn't much rocketeering in the movie. If you think,
No,
and that's due
really.
to the budget. I know,
Well, is it? I don't know. I think that
$35 million was the budget, and with inflation, let's say that was $70 million. So yeah, you know what? You could have packed in some rocketeering in there.
I feel like that was I could be wrong. I feel like when I watch it again, as you have, it feels very thoughtful in the pacing. It's not a long movie. But the pacing that's there is very deliberate, at least in terms of how I feel about it. You could be very well right, and they had to cut some scenes for budget reasons, but the moments that you get are deliberate, right? You get the test on the field at night, and that's more of a slapstick bit, right? There's a purpose there. But the first midair stunt set piece, which I think holds up. It's a wonderful mix of green screen and real stunts in the air, and it holds up. And that first one, which we sort of amusingly, alluded to in the intro with the clown being saved, right? That's so well done. The music especially, and I'll get to that later, it hits all the right notes. It swells in all the right places. And that first time he does that midair rescue, you're like, okay, I'm in for something special.
That poor clown.
And actually, now that I'm mentioning it, like even in the beginning, it opens with like kind of a cool chase, right? It's like a heist.
Oh, these guys are on the guns.
Yeah, well, you got Tommy guns. You know exactly what you're in for. So it's also something I kind of identified because you don't usually open a movie like that and you're like, all right, what's the big old fuss? It's usually some sort of MacGuffin, right? It's some coveted piece. It's slightly mysterious. We don't know what it does yet. And for most movies, that's enough. Even Indiana Jones, which Joe Johnston worked on in part, The Ark of the Covenant, all that, and many other movies.
And Boba Fett.
Maltese Falcon. Yeah, no, Joe Johnston did help design the Boba Fett. But going into that, this is one of those rare MacGuffins that not only do you learn what it does, right? It's actually a pretty cool MacGuffin. Yeah. It's not something that falls by the wayside and isn't just an object for people to chase, which, the FBI is after, the mobsters are after, Neville Sinclair's after, spoiler alert, the Nazis are after, and Howard Hughes is after. Yeah. It's just a really cool tool. And it's not common that you see that in a movie. It's
not a MacGuffin. It's a MacGuffin.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But it worked. Yeah, no. And I don't know. I love that opening chase, though, with the Tommy guns. And then he's calling them lousy feds.
Right. Yeah. Clearly the most sinister law-breaking man that's the language he's going to be using.
These lousy feds. And then one of them gets killed. And I like that. They had to get the cop car off the road, but then the FBI guys came up and started shooting through them. They're like, oh, man, we shouldn't have done that. And then also, I love when, they're up in the air testing their plane for the Nationals. They're beautiful plane, by the way. Alan Arkin or Evie. Wait, I got his name up here.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, he's a brilliant mechanic. But I love that plane. It gets shot down. Their plane gets wrecked, and they realize they can't work, and they might lose their hangar. Blah blah blah. But I love when Billy Campbell is yelling at the FBI agent, and Billy Campbell punches one of the feds.
Yep,
and then the guy,
and the guy punches right back.
Yeah, the dude just socks him back. I love that. I think that's pretty good. So I guess it establishes Billy Campbell as kind of like a hot shot, right? And
Well, a
then
hothead too, yeah.
kind of a hothead, kind of like, like a pilot. Didn't they call him just like a, airhead? Not really
Well,
airhead.
Jenny says it best, right? She says he's rough around the edges, and you understand that he's sympathetic because they're on hard times and they're trying to make things work, but they got caught up in something that maybe they didn't ask for, but this plane getting shot down, so you understand why he's upset.
And he just socks the Fed, and then the Fed punches him back. He's like, "You're lucky you just got that." Like, I thought that was a cool scene, right? I thought that built, and then I also really liked those Feds that were in the movie. I thought those guys were really cool. The two guys that worked for Ed Lauder, Agent Fitch, the guy who threw the punch. They're really good in this movie. So you have a bunch of side characters that are quite memorable, I would say. I don't know if you agree.
I think they move the plot along. I think that's their point. And they do it in a way that doesn't feel annoying. You're not sitting there and you're saying, oh, where's Cliff? Where's Jenny? And that's me. I'm always saying, where's Jenny? But you don't mind when they're on screen because they're moving things along. Yeah.
And also John Polito, who plays Bigelow, the mob boss.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what it was like in the comic book, but to include him in the script as the muscle, and then eventually, he's like, I'm all American, baby, and he starts mowing down Nazis with a Tommy gun. That's even a good way to get the movie moving, I guess. So even the side characters played, I guess as far as moving the script of side characters, they did a good job. They didn't feel too tacked on.
Yeah, I mean, I think just piggybacking on that, what was it, the Paul Sorvino character, the mobster or whatever, you get the immediate knowledge that they're not great people, but when they're engaging with Neville Sinclair especially, and even before who Neville Sinclair truly is, you do see shades of likability to them. There's character details in their disagreements, debates, what have you, over who's doing what in the job and so on and so forth, that he has values or whatever. And you're right, that comes to a head when the common enemy is revealed, right? And they find themselves united against the Nazis, and he sort of comes to this affirmation that he's maybe not a good person, but he's an American, which actually is very reminiscent. I believe this came after the fact in a Batman comic. There was a plot line that involved the Joker dealing with terrorists or something to that effect. I don't recall the storyline exactly, but he has this pretty much the same throwaway line, which is I may be crazy, but I'm all American. It's it's very funny when what we'll use as devices to unite a very fractured country sometimes.
Yep. I'm not a Nazi.
Right. Well, unfortunately, that can't be said so much anymore in 2019. It's wild times, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm not a real Nazi.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's the sad distinction we must make now.
Now, I want to talk about this before I forget, and this is towards the end. I have to do it. But so at the end, Jenny gets captured, but I'll talk about that later. I'll go on another tangent. So she gets captured. The Rocketeer shows up, right?
Sure.
And he's like, hey, you told me you're a Nazi? Then they're like, yeah, you're a Nazi. So then all the mobsters pull their guns on the Nazis. And then the Nazis are like, well, we got you covered. And a bunch of Nazis come up behind them.
Right.
And I'm wondering, how did that happen? How did they have time to set up? And then all out of nowhere, massive lights turn on. And just to the immediate right of the Nazis, the feds are like, drop your weapons. And I'm sitting there going, how did the mobsters not know that they were the extra Nazis? And how did the extra Nazis not see the massive crew and lights and electrical units being pulled up to, this is very similar to our Jason Goes to Hell.
I was just about to say, you're recalling the same topic of conversation.
But how do they not know? How did they, I know it's a movie and it was a good plot beat. And it has a fun gunfight, and it adds Polito and the agent shooting together, which was awesome. But
right.
I mean, these Nazis are quite aloof.
Yeah, well, what? Maybe it's back to Neville Sinclair's point about it was acting, right? They're just that good. And acting also, if you're hiding, that counts, right?
Yeah.
You're pretending not to be there.
But why did those Nazis not say anything about the feds pulling up with massive lights?
It's dramatic effect. They wanted to make an entrance.
Oh, so Dalton knew they were there the whole time? He just wanted to be dramatic?
Absolutely. And then they get to show off the Zeppelin.
Yep. Which, even if they got the rocket pack, they could have just shot it with the airplane.
They could have shot...
blown up the Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, wait, is this before or after the Hindenburg? I don't really understand. I don't know Anyways, yeah, maybe. I think they make a point at some stage or some scene. They say, oh, one shot of this, it'll be up in flames or something like that.
Yeah, but they could shoot it from 20 feet away.
Right. Well, I guess that's less heroic, right? You had to have Cliff don the pack and stand by the waving American flag and then pull out his pistol and then look to the sky before Paul Sorvino's character says, "Go get him, kid." And then the James Horner score swells and you feel proud to be an American all over again.
Horner had no time to do his score. Did you read about that?
I didn't, and that blows my damn mind because the guy is a hit factory, but that honestly may have been the most gorgeous love letter to flight. Like, I'm not one of those like, aviation types, but you listen to it even blind, not watching the movie, and there's something about it. That hangar scene in the beginning sets the stage perfectly, but there's something about it even without the visuals where you're just like, man was destined to touch the sky, and this is the song to do it. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something so perfectly nostalgic and aspirational about that theme. It's just the motifs used in it. It's just so beautiful.
So Hindenburg was 37. This takes place in 38. So I guess I knew about the Hindenburg.
Okay, well, that's helpful.
They should have used that music during Apollo 11, that documentary about Apollo 11 going to the moon. What do you think?
I haven't seen it, but I think any movie that wants to use this score is probably a better movie for it.
Do you own this score?
I actually don't, and it's funny you say that because that's one other bone to pick I have with this dang Disney man. This movie has gotten no love.
No love.
Absolutely no love. And, we can stand here all day talking for hours about the reasons it hasn't, but chief among them, you know me as a collector. I don't buy too many movies anymore, but the ones I do, I have are near and dear to my heart. So when I did force myself to buy this because I just had to have it, there's a 20th anniversary Blu-ray. All right, I'm thinking they must have done something. Mark, can you try for me? Tell me one thing on this Blu-ray 20th anniversary that I paid $20 for. Tell me one thing besides the movie itself that it has on it.
The trailer.
Not even. Nothing. Nothing. It says Disney Digital High Quality Sound. That's it. That's the 20th anniversary treatment for Rocketeer. So to your point about the score, I don't. If it's on vinyl, I'm sure there was a very limited pressing, and who knows how much that goes for. But yeah, this movie just has completely been mistreated, and that is a damn shame.
Now, you talk to people our age. What do they say about it? So I'm 30. Wait, how old am I?
I'm not going to date you here, but I'm 32.
I'm 36. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You lose track after 35, man.
Yeah.
So they love it, though, I think. Most people our age.
Who have been exposed to it.
Yeah.
I will say that there's still a very big majority of people, too big a majority of people that still have no idea what it is. And that's okay. That's fine. I think to know the movie, and that's very true here, I think to know the movie is to love it. I haven't talked to or heard from a single person who's like, oh yeah, Rocketeer, whatever. Like, no, there's no way.
This movie fits everything I kind of like. I like yarns. I like, tales of adventure. I like fisticuffs. And in this movie, there's some good fisticuffs.
There's a lot of fisticuffs. Actually, that's a good point because it's not a superhero movie. It's not a comic movie. It's not a genre movie. It's not a historical fiction movie. It's all of those things. It's a wonderful cocktail, really, of old serial adventures, a little bit of noir. It is a perfect sort of pie chart, I think. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's how the movie failed to market when it did come out because they didn't have that pegged down into one or two easy squares for people to sort of check off.
I guess, yeah, you're right. All right, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Joe Johnston's movie before this. He shrunk kids. I guess that's The Rocketeer. A dude battles Nazis, right? With a rocket pack.
Right, but I also think actually, I'm not sure. I haven't seen too many old ads for it, but I would be inclined to believe in Disney's best interests and perhaps the marketing purposes that they kept the Nazi element a secret until that was the movie, and I want to believe that was sort of a nice reveal because it is a ballsy move. I think even back then when things were a bit more when they took bigger chances, I think even then they realized I should probably make that the big reveal, might pay off better. But I actually don't know. Maybe there was overt advertising disclosing the true insidious nature of Neville Sinclair.
What do you think about Lothar?
Is Lothar the comically large henchman man that looks like he's from Dick Tracy?
Yeah, which came out a year later, which is interesting.
Yeah, I guess that was the trend in makeup at the time, just have possibly like large Kylie Jenner lips and, not be able to move your mouth very well.
That tiny Ron Taylor is the actor's name. He played basketball for 3 years, then he moved on to movies. He was the really tall guy in the Naked Gun movies that no one could see his head.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Now, this movie, though, there's one scene that really pulled me out of it, and it's the scene where the Rocketeer kicks Lothar right in the plums. And it sounds like the Rocketeer hits concrete. And he basically bruises his shin, and Lothar just looks at him like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, that's never really explained. It was a very Jaws from James Bond moment where you're like, oh, if James Bond punches him in the mouth, he's going to hurt himself because his freaking mouth is metal. But you didn't really get an explanation as to why he's got steel nads.
I mean, now, watching it again, though, he is pretty athletic for a 7-footer when he runs. I don't know if you noticed that.
I mean, I'm too busy looking at his ridiculous mouth and his shoulder pads. He kind of looks like a weird version of Frankenstein's monster.
He folded a guy in half.
Yeah, that was another thing. I think that's his big intro, right, where he's called to the hospital to take somebody out, and it's very violent, the sounds. And I like how artful it is, right? There's nothing much seen, right, but it's all implied. There's lots of screaming. It's very not sugar-coated, and then you find his body all mangled, and it's not bloody necessarily, but your mind, the theater of the mind, right, creates the scene for you, and I think you're like, oh man, this guy's actually terrifying.
I mean, I love that mobster too. I ain't telling you nothing, say. Like, I only talk to Bigelow.
Oh, all of the old-timey talk is so welcome. Like, it feels more natural than it did maybe in Dick Tracy, which I think was a bit ostentatious with that aesthetic, which I guess is fine because it's supposed to be over the top. I mean, it's freaking Warren Beatty in a yellow, duster or whatever. But yeah, this one, it felt a little bit more welcome and warm, and I didn't sort of wince at it. The
production design in Dick Tracy's great. I love the color palette, just how much they committed to it.
Oh, it's all primary colors. Yeah. It's sort of the Sin City before its time, I suppose.
Yeah, but but you're right though. It's the police officer and the nurse, and they're watching a show.
Well, they're listening to a serial. It's the radio serial.
Oh yeah, and someone's screaming, right?
Yeah.
And then he's screaming in the background.
Mm-hmm. And it's the classic. Oh, is it from the radio or is it from the operating room or the waiting room?
I did think he was pretty gangster when Lothar just pulled out guns and started wiping out the G-men.
Does he? I can't remember. Does he pull out like two? Is he double fisting?
Yeah, he double fit. Because him and the Rocketeer are looking at each other. Then they come to the door and they both look like, huh?
Yeah.
And then Lothar just pulls out guns and starts shooting. Like he wipes out an FBI agent.
Sure.
Just wipes him out. I thought that was kind of gangster.
Mows him down.
Now, have you ever read that Far Side comic where there's a rhinoceros holding a knife and one of the guys in the Serengeti's like, "There's a rhinoceros. Watch out! That's a rhinoceros with a knife." But the knife is really tiny in the rhino's hands. That's what this guy looks like when he pulls a knife. He didn't need it.
Okay, first of all, let me answer your question. Absolutely not. I've never seen that. And second of all, I kind of adore the fact that was the most probably esoteric reference, trying to simplify a scene from a movie like The Rocketeer that you could possibly pluck from.
It was good, man. Far Side. Read it as a kid. I was precocious.
You were precocious.
Slightly feral.
Slightly.
I was like the kid from Mad Max. If he had 1 year of schooling.
All right, that's pretty accurate too. I'll give you that. One thing I really enjoyed, by the way, before I forget, Terry O'Quinn.
Oh, so good.
Terry O'Quinn as Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes not, peeing in mason jars, losing his mind, spiraling out of control via the Leo DiCaprio vehicle, but just a really great short, not a whole lot of screen time. Appearance by Terry O'Quinn as Howard Hughes. I loved that. And that goes into our point earlier, right? The historical fiction. They're integrating and weaving in these iconic Hollywood land and aviation fixtures right into a whole new story. It just feels cool.
All right, how about this? We could keep talking about this movie, but let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more Terry O'Quinn. I want to talk about Lost, too.
And his mustache.
And his mustache, and the show Lost. And then we have another listener question that we'll answer. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And that's a heck of a mustache on it. That's a wafer-thin mint pencil mustache.
That's like a number one lead pencil mustache. If number two is the standard, that would be a number one lead.
I've never seen you with facial hair, but have you ever had a mustache?
When's the last time you saw me, Mark? I have facial hair now, and I've never not had facial hair for the last 10 years. Has it really been that long?
I don't know. Facebook, I guess I see it, but I don't really look on Facebook much.
Oh, that's fair. Sorry, what was your question?
Well, I mean, have you ever had a pencil-thin mustache?
No, I don't actually think that's achievable for me. My hair grows in such a way that's just a bit out of control. So I'd have to try very, very hard. How does one actually – that's a great question. How does one achieve it? Because that to me looks like an affair that includes lots of copious wax.
Lots of wax, and just you have to work at it every day.
Yeah, but gosh, I mean – I've gone barefaced. I've had some real woodsman beards in my time, but you got to imagine eating with something like that right above your lip has got to be super just annoying. Because, how do you even lick your lips?
That would feel kind of gross, wouldn't it?
Absolutely gross. And conducive to what? What look are you going for?
The only time I ever have a mustache is when I shave my beard and I just leave my mustache for a little while to...
Oh, sure. That's what every guy does in, the few seconds he has to make up his mind.
Yeah, and then I see it, and I walk around the house for a little bit. Megan, my wife, is like, "Oh, brother," and then I debate whether I want to go out in public with it, and then I just shave it off.
You've never gone more than a couple minutes of just annoying her? You haven't stretched it out?
Nah, because it just, I don't know, man. It just feels like prodding, and I would hate it if that happened to me. And I don't think I have. If I had a stronger chin, I could do a mustache. If I had like Sam Elliott, you know what I mean, Tom Selleck.
Sure. I
would do it, but I don't have a good enough chin.
I'm not sure it's about the chin, to be honest. I think people make a fuss about the jawline and the chin, but I think it's the whole package. I think there's too much going on with the center of the face and the weighting, right? Because if you got a lopsided looking half, it looks all off. I think there's more at play.
Yeah,
but I also agree. I think you're probably better off living without a pencil mustache.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it tonight. I'm gonna see. I don't like on the. I just grow a beard and I get sick of it and I shave it. I don't even keep this thing up.
It must be nice.
I just let it grow.
So do I.
I did have I watched that movie Maniac probably in 2002.
Which one? The Elijah Wood one?
No, the one with
or the original one.
No, I think wasn't it Maniac with Don Cheadle and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel? They did a movie.
If they did, there's been too many movies called Maniac because there's a horror movie named Maniac. There's a horror movie remake named Maniac. There's a show, I believe from Sweden, called Maniac. And there's a Netflix remake with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone called Maniac. There's a lot of Maniacs out there.
I don't know if it is Maniac, but JGL had under the chin hair. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That you could kind of grab. You know how people stroke their beard?
Almost like a neck beard.
Yeah, so I had just that piece. I don't know what I was thinking, man.
Oof, that sounds rough.
Yeah, I pulled it off, though, because I didn't, not for 1 second was I self-conscious about it, and no one ever brought it up.
It's how you wear it. Yeah, you can't, walk, even if you have the most badass pencil mustache. If you're walking around strutting you got a pencil mustache, it's probably kind of cringe. But if you're walking around, you're not showboating, you're probably fine.
John Waters does a great job with the pencil mustache.
That's right. And it's kind of a Dolly thing, right? He kind of has that svelte, pale, thin man look, so I think it works for him.
His book is very good, by the way, Shock Value. He wrote his autobiography. And so if you're ever into independent filmmaking, dirt cheap, kind of learning how Waters got his start, he wrote a very good book. So I recommend that. He
also famously said that you should never go home with somebody and, F them if they don't have books. Says if you go home with somebody and they don't have books, don't F them. So...
Yeah, I mean,
that gets parroted a lot, especially on dating apps. It's cool, you like John Waters and maybe you have a book. Congratulations.
Maybe I should keep my Infinite Jest book out.
Oh man, I don't know. That's getting into some that's territory that's going to take too long to unpack.
I was not even familiar with that. So
That's too much baggage there, my friend.
I just read it on my Kindle.
Oh yeah, you just as one does with Infinite Jest, you just read it.
Yeah.
And then you never tell anybody about it.
Is that what you do?
No, absolutely not. The thing you do is you spend an evening on Wikipedia exploring his life story, right? And then you go out and buy Infinite Jest because of all the things that are written about it. And then you tell people and show them on social media that you have the book and you are on a mission to read it. And then, you get 20 pages in and you just give up. and you don't tell anybody. You cannot tell anybody because then you'd be a failure. But yeah, to own infinite jest is to give up on infinite jest, but it's to also let everybody know that you've engaged with infinite jest. And maybe David Foster Wallace's other works, I don't know.
I bonded with it because they talked about tennis. They talked about filmmaking, and then they also talked about addiction. So it was like, hey, it was interesting. I don't know. He was messing with me, but I think I'm stubborn, more stubborn than most people. Does that make sense?
I mean, that's verifiably true if you are one of the few people who actually finished it. And that's not a judgment on the book's quality. I certainly can't say as somebody who hasn't tried, but I'm just pointing out the trends and the what I'm seeing, and it's the major observation to be had.
Did you ever watch The British Office?
Of course I did.
Could you picture David Brent having that book in his house and pointing at it, going Infinite Jest?
Absolutely, yes.
And just Gervais is pointing at it. Did you read it? Yeah. Oh yeah. What did you think? Well, it was great.
That's actually a great lost scene you're just describing. Now, that wouldn't work necessarily for the Carell version. I don't think that the Steve Carell's Michael Scott even had that sort of pop cultural awareness. But you're right. I think David Brent, I think that was his name. Yeah, he might. I could easily see him doing that.
Nailed it. All right. So what else haven't we covered in this movie? I love the sets. I love when they go to the South Seas Club. And
the place Jenny's trying to get into, and no, because Cliff only wants to go to the airfield because, he's a good old down-home boy, can't afford much. But
could Cliff and Jenny afford that place?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I think, but they built that, dude. That's a warehouse. That's a full stage.
Yeah.
There's a giant clamshell.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful art. It's an Art Deco dream.
Yeah. I mean, and I was reading a lot about, when I read about this movie, Art Deco pops up everywhere for it.
I mean, if there's a movie for Art Deco, and there are many, I would argue this is the dream. This is the bar. Right. Mm-hmm. Even the beautiful poster, which I obviously can't replicate for your listeners. I implore you to Google it. It's so simple. It's all lines. It's all shades of color. It's just a perfect vector of Art Deco. And the font, I mean, we all know what Art Deco font looks like. Like, it's all there.
Maybe I should show this to my students. Because I just taught them about brutalist architecture in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really easy to show.
Sure.
That'd be easy to do some of this. Teach them some Deco. And have them yawn in about 5 minutes.
There's plenty of examples to choose from, but like I said, if you
I just like this movie.
Yeah, every frame you can find something. I mean, if nothing else, the costume design there is no word besides Art Deco except iconic, right? There's no other word for it.
This movie didn't win an award for costume design, and I would say that they had a basis for the Rocketeer, but the way they designed that was beautiful. Also, Jennifer Connelly's dress at the end. I mean, that's really great costume design.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic, I don't want to say trope necessarily, but the lean to put the damsel in white, right? It goes back a long, long time, and I don't need to remind anybody, but the way she wears it, she's just a knockout. She's a classic Hollywood beauty in every sense of the word. I think 4 or 5-year-old me, something was awakened when I saw that.
Now, Dalton, he's so creepy when he tries to give her that other outfit, and it's like he knocks her out. Oh, also, I got to talk about this. In this movie, bonking people on the head is a major theme.
Mm-hmm.
In the Margot Nightingale from The Americans that everybody remembers her from. But yeah, Margot, she bonks a mobster in the head in the Bulldog, knocks him out. And then Margot Martindale. And then on 2 separate occasions, Jennifer Connelly bonks people.
Right.
There's a lot of head bonking going on in this movie.
Yeah, it's a classic way to subdue somebody, right? What are they going to do? Put them in a chokehold? It's not like Jenny's lifting weights. It's you grab the near heavy object and pray they're unconscious. It's just the way it goes.
Bonk them in the head?
Yes.
But so Dalton knocks her out with chloroform. When she comes back to save the Rocketeer, he wants to send her away, and Jenny's like, no. She comes back, gets captured, damsel in distress. But he wakes her up, and so he kidnaps her. And then he goes, hey, put this on. And he hands her a black nightie.
Yeah, it's a weird, well, it's not a weird moment. It's a fun moment of an actor playing an actor who's acting against another actor. So it's sort of a battle of wits. And obviously we know who wins that battle because she proves to be the superior actor. But yeah, it's an odd thing where he's like, yeah, I know I just like put you into chloroform asleep and woke you up, but it was for your own good.
Yeah, these people are terrible.
Yeah, just looking out for you. By the way, put this number on.
Mash, eh? And then she did a scene with him. That's a good line, no?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's identifying him for the fake that he is, right? She's calling him out for all the lines he's used on other actresses and women, and he's playing along with it. I think he's probably endeared by it to an extent. And we know that she knows that he's unraveling as a fraud, but we don't know what kind of fraud. And it's the scene right after, I think, that when he's revealed to be a fascist Nazi working for Hitler, that's a pretty big deal for the movie. I don't think we should overlook that because, yes, Disney took bigger risks back then, but boy, to the extent that they showed the Nazi propaganda and just the abundance of swastikas in this, it's just kind of like, in 2019, being the atmosphere that it is, it's a bit shocking. But I like that there's plenty of foreshadowing, right, sprinkled throughout the movie. Very early on, even that Neville is not just your typical, mustache twiddling villain. There's something else to him, and I think that's a credit to Dalton's performance. I love him as James Bond, and I think he's wonderful in most everything he does, but I immediately think this is up there with his role in Hot Fuzz, right? He plays these villains that are having so much fun.
I'm a slasher.
Right. Exactly.
And then there also is a line in Hot Fuzz where they go, fascist.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a sort of wink and nod, knowing Edgar Wright.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I should ask him. What do you think? Send him a tweet.
He is active on the tweeter.
I'll go, hey, Eddie. Hey, E-dubs.
Yeah, Dalton's great. Also did not get enough credit as James Bond.
Yeah, I think it was just a dour Bond, and people weren't used to that. But now I think it's aged well.
He's a great 80s Bond. They needed somebody who was rough. He's rough around the edges, and he's brash, and he's not Moore, and we did not need more of Moore.
Yeah, they needed less.
Yeah. Less of more, of more, and I think Living Daylights is one of my favorite Bond movies for whatever reason. It's just such a simple story of revenge, but at any rate, that's neither here nor there.
Well, all right, so this is gonna take a while. We have Phantom, and then we have Speed Racer, and then we have Cloud Atlas. But if you want to talk about that in 6 months from now, we can.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, let's do it.
All right, so we got our next 4 planned. No.
Oh,
yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, hey, I just booked you for more. Next week.
Oh, man. What have I gone done? Yeah!
But
have my people call your people.
Man, I'll put it on the books. So, I don't know. And then what about the final action scene? Did you enjoy that? The Zeppelin going away, the Tommy guns going off?
Mm-hmm. I think with this kind of movie, which I believe firmly that it's paced very well. I think that the action set pieces are very deliberate. And maybe you can look at it and say they could have had more, but I think the only way to end this type of movie was on a Zeppelin like that.
Yeah. And I mean, highly explosive adds to I don't know, you can have a fight on top of it. And I watched the making of it. They had some behind the scenes pictures. It's easier to film and it's cheaper since it's so big. You can put it in a studio.
Sure.
And then, I mean, Dalton dying didn't look too great. Also, another thing we never talked about, Alan Arkin in this movie.
No, Alan. One thing first.
Right.
Yeah, the bit with him may be a bit cheesy when he just sort of becomes a fireball right in the sky. But I think that is salvaged, and not that I don't enjoy the scene because it is funny on its own. But I do enjoy that he is responsible for creating the Hollywood sign as we know and love. Because of course, we as viewers see Hollywood land. He takes the land out and it becomes Hollywood. But yeah, Alan Arkin, I think he's very good in this role, but I also think that's by virtue of him being at his most Alan Arkin-y. Like he's very much that character actor. And that's not to say that he has been pigeonholed necessarily, but I watch him in this and I think this is Alan Arkin and Edward Scissorhands. He's just sort of a curmudgeon, knows better father figure type where he's espousing advice and telling him to get the girl and it'll be your fault if you lose her. And I think he was a wonderful addition to the cast. I don't know how this movie would have really worked without that kind of fixture in it.
And we also
or foil, yeah.
We just talked about So I Married an Axe Murderer. I love his character in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Who does he play in that again?
So
it's been a long time since I've seen
He's the really nice police chief. And so Anthony LaPaglia was like, hey, can't you be mean? Like, everyone has these chiefs that come in and yell at him and they chew at him. He's like, well, I can't. He's like, well, can't you say I'm going to go to the commissioner and I'm going to make a complaint. He's like, well, I can't really go to him. I talked to a committee. And then at the end, he just goes off on Anthony, like just, I mean, really leans into him. And then LaPaglia's like, great job, man. That was good. And Alan Arkin's like, it wasn't too strong. I didn't come on too strong. He's like, no, it was perfect. But during the tirade, he's like, get your spaghetti bending butt back in here. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I mean, he was just riffing on him being Italian, but I love that line. But I like when I guess I like when Goldblum goes full Goldblum. So I guess I love it when Arkin goes full Arkin.
Yeah, I mean, it also reminds me of his character in Little Miss Sunshine, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a number of other roles, but it's just, yeah, he's just got that type, and he's very good at it.
$1 million arm. And then let's see, the Bulldog scene. Did you like the kind of locals taking him in there? I thought some of the scenes where they were just building up the pilots. You know, the one guy had been shot down by the Red Baron. I thought they were really well established just for being very side, like, you know, very.
They're well used, yeah. Because the guy you're referring to, right, is the same one who goes in the air as the clown, and he feels bad because he ruined a date night with Jenny and Cliff. And you're right, they don't give them a lot of screen time, but the screen time they get, they become far more fleshed out characters than, you know, your standard stand-ins.
I hate that,
which I like.
Yeah. I hate that the pie gets destroyed.
The pie? What pie was it?
I don't know. Look, I'm betting apple. It was 38.
I mean, I guess.
Maybe,
yeah.
Maybe
probably didn't
cherry.
have too many exotic options.
Yeah, I mean, apple pie is always good. I mean, this is a very apple pie movie.
That's right. That is a perfect clincher. It is just, it's a comfortable, warm, nostalgic, cozy ass movie, and it tastes good every time you watch it. Every time you watch it, it just delivers.
All right, final question from Johnny Nunn. The cast is a who's who of great character actors, many of which I stumbled across in other films by accident in the subsequent years. The Coen brothers veteran John Polito, Ed Lauder, James Handy, Paul Sorvino, Margot Martindale, Timothy Dalton, Jennifer Connelly, and the great Alan Arkin. Who's your favorite character actor? Who's your favorite character among the supporting cast? So who's your favorite person in the supporting cast?
I mean, it's a cop-out. There's too many to pick. I just think if you're talking about people who are inexpensible, to me, and I know this because she was sort of framed after the Betty Page prototype, I just think Jennifer Connelly she just fit the bill perfectly. I think her and Billy Campbell, they fit those types.
Oh yeah.
So to a T. And you know, you're talking about squares and circle pegs and just fits that just lock. And you don't need them to be super unique. You don't need them to be idiosyncratic, right? They just need to be the type. And for this kind of a serial adventure movie, I just don't know who could have possibly filled those shoes better, which is a weird thing to say because, you know, I don't know what else Billy Campbell's gone on. I know he was in The Killing, and I liked that a lot. And he's a fine actor for what I've seen, but usually you can kind of say, well, you know, this A-list actor might have done the role better, but when it comes to Jenny's part, how many actresses, I guess Gretchen Mol maybe, but like could have pulled off that Betty Page look and aesthetic without being, I guess, sexually charged, right? Because Jenny in the movie is very innocent. She's naive. She's beautiful and she's sexy, but she doesn't exude that in an aggressive way. It's still a family movie. So when she's on screen, you know, you hold your breath and you take it in. But I think as far as her acting and fitting that role for what she needed to be, and you know, certainly in the looks department, I think she was absolutely inexpensible to that movie.
You make my answer sound weird.
My answer didn't sound weird.
No, it was great. You explained everything without being a creeper. I think you did a great job.
That's a feat for me. Well, please do tell. Who is your favorite?
Well, I just like that Agent Fitch because he just socks Billy Campbell right back in the face. Like that guy That's
the reason you got nothing else.
I mean, when do you get these kind of characters? And he's also prevalent throughout the rest of the movie. And I just liked his one-liners. I liked his presence. I don't think I've ever seen such a side character. And like
with
the
as
guy.
much agency, right?
I mean, he just popped Billy Campbell right in the face again, and then he was talking to him, and his buddy's like, "Well, you're being a jerk too." Like, I don't know. I guess, like, you know, I love the minutia, man, but this,
it also felt somewhat reflective, and I say this as I say this as a millennial, but you know, maybe that's how it was back then. Maybe they were just like, shades of gray, and everybody was just sort of looking out for their own hide. And if they got into fisticuffs, so be it.
I love fisticuffs, dude. Also, Ed Lauder is in our Youngblood podcast. I know you've listened to it.
Mm.
He was the hockey coach.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Youngblood?
I haven't.
Keanu Reeves, Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze playing hockey.
That's a lot of hunks in one movie.
Yeah, it's a PG movie with like a cinematic sex scene in it that gets an R rating. It's very weird. And in true MFF fashion, you can't buy it. Or, no, you can't rent it or stream it. You have to buy it. So we did a movie that you have to buy to watch to listen to the podcast. And then Ed Lauder's also in Not Another Teen Movie as a really profane John Voight-esque coach.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah. Just
I somehow remember that.
Saying every swear word in the book. Now, we have something very special, Adam.
Uh-oh.
Anything else to say about the movie? Or are you done?
I guess I will say I don't like chewing gum. But after this movie, I do kind of believe that maybe it does have the effect of good luck.
Chewing gum should only be used for jetpacks. No one should chew it.
Right.
I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can just smack gum.
There's a lot of uses for chewing gum in movies. Mission Impossible uses it as a detonation device. In this movie, it's literally used as a token of good luck. Maybe there's something there.
I almost walked out of Domino because she smacks gum the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, it could get really annoying really quick.
Now, I am going to drop the 10 cents, we're releasing it on this date. I'm going to drop the 10 really great American characters from movies.
In no particular order, or?
No, I'm just going to let you know. All right. So, number 1, Luis Michael Pena from Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, right?
Okay.
He's an ex-con. He stole 2 smoothie machines, did his time, right? Comes out, gets everything straight, starts up a business called X-Con. He's a great storyteller, and he's a good one-punch knockout artist who has done his part to help make the world a better place. So he's not the superhero. He's not the square-jawed guy, but he's a badass knockout artist who is great at telling stories, and he's really using his skills to help against further theft. So he's almost like Catch Me If You Can.
So he's reformed.
Yeah, and he's cool. I just like Michael Pena.
Okay.
I had to add him in here because I love that character, and I love his talks about truth serums and the undercarriage of cars being very dirty. All right, so my next one is Alexa Woods from AVP.
I am not even embarrassed to say which one was that again.
Played by Sanaa Lathan. Now,
Okay.
she's an environmental technician. She hiked Everest without oxygen. She was the youngest person to ever do it. When we first meet her, she's climbing up massive ice things like Tom Cruise, and the predators like her so much that they put a little scar on her cheek and make her an honorary predator.
So she's the final girl.
Yeah, she's the final girl, super cool, super smart. She becomes a predator. Like the predator, they all give her respect.
Does that mean that she has to go door to door in her local neighborhood and say, hello, I'm just doing my duty and informing you that I am a predator so that none of the kids feel, everybody's aware?
She's going to go around bragging about it. Hey, you know those predators that invade our Earth every now and again? I'm one of them.
I guess that's probably the way I'd do it, too, if I was bestowed the predator title, not by court.
All right, my next one. Thomas Builds the Fire, played by Evan Adams in Smoke Signals. So, Smoke Signals was written by Sherman Alexie. I read a lot of his stuff, love his books. But if you haven't seen Smoke Signals, it's about he and Adam Beach going across country, to find his father who had passed away. And I don't know if you've seen Smoke Signals, but he's just a really earnest, great storyteller. Hey Victor. Just one of the most likable, charismatic actors. And I love that movie. I saw it when I went to a free screening at Florida State to go see it. You might have been there. So I went and saw that, and I don't know, man. I like him. I like Thomas. Thomas is a good dude, and I love Smoke Signals. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't. And is this character, is this actor of Native American descent?
Yeah.
Because I know Adam Beach is. Yeah. Okay.
So they're on a reservation in Idaho, and they leave to go on a cross country journey.
Gotcha.
And it's like an odd coupling, the two of them. But he's just such a likable dude. And whenever I think about that movie, I just smile. So I'm a big fan of, I don't know. It's worth watching. If you guys haven't seen it, really good script by Sherman Alexie too. Like he wrote like The Long Ranger and Tonto or Fist Fighting in Heaven, those kind of books. He wrote really great poetry. He was on this train ride with this lady who was telling him how old Boston is. And he has a good bit. All right, so my next one is Tracy Flick, played by Reese Witherspoon in Election.
Interesting pick.
Now, we have a podcast coming out about it soon, but having watched the movie again, it is a brilliant performance that is...
It is.
It's brilliant. Brilliant performance. And, all right, so there's a scene in the movie where she gets seduced by this older teacher, but just like her body language in it, like she should have gotten an Oscar nomination. But what I like about her is they don't really build this up too much in the movie, and there were some deleted scenes, but her mom, it like gives her pills in one scene. Oh, here, just take some pills. Or her mom kind of criticizes her about her cupcakes, and her mom pushes her to do things. So this girl is only 17, and she's living in Nebraska. No, wait, yeah.
Sounds right.
And I don't know, man, like I think some people have vilified her, and I think in a way she does know how to get under people's skin, and there is a little bit of conniving.
There's plenty of sociopathic tendencies.
Yeah, like the scene where
there.
she goes up to Matthew Broderick's car and like she sticks her finger in between the thing where the window goes. So yeah, she's definitely doing that. But I just like the drive. I like the characterization. I like that she's three-dimensional. I like the way that the character can be read, and I just think her character is very American. I dig it.
That's a sympathetic read, and I thought that you might come at this from a more Patrick Bateman critique of American sociopathy angle. That's probably mine, and I say that without having seen it in a few years, but that's a inspired pick. I'll give you that one.
I'm the guy who defended Tina.
Yeah, enough said.
All right. And then next, this one's great, but it's Doug Glatt, Sean William Scott from Goon. And so, you laugh. Goon is a very good movie.
I still haven't seen it.
It is, look at the Rotten Tomatoes. It's like up in the 80s, got a sequel. So this movie, right, he's just a good dude who joins a hockey team and just beats the snot out of people. Not out of hatred, it's just because he's what he's good at. A lot of people have mistaken him for being a dumb character, and I disagree with that. I think he's very earnest, and he grew up with a family of lawyers and very intelligent people. He never really found his kind of niche. And so when I was watching this movie, I was a bouncer, and he was a bouncer, and then I'm watching like his earnestness, and like I used to box, so like I saw a lot of myself in him, and his relationship with Alison Pill, I think is really funny. Like she's awesome in this movie, but she was Canadian in it. But I don't know, man. This movie needs more people to watch it, but I just think he's like a cool, nice, earnest wrecking machine. It just kind of represents the kind of, like America. Like, you're just a nice dude who can beat people up for the most part, where I'm not generalizing. I'm not going to go into it too far. But I think he's a cool dude, good teammate. You want him on your side. Nice guy, three-dimensional. And Sean William Scott's a good dude, so that's my one. All right.
All right.
My next one is, let's see, who should I pick?
I mean, if it's in no particular order.
All right, so I'm going to pick Frank from They Live, played by Keith David.
Okay.
Keith David is awesome. He was in a show called Enlisted, which I thought was very funny, and they canceled it, which I kind of got bummed by. But what I like about this movie is he's just a dude who's working. And, saving money for his family. It's rough, but he gets the job done, puts his head down. But when he learns what's going on, he does what's right and helps. And it doesn't end well for him, but I think Frank's just a badass, and I like Keith David. He was in The Thing, so you got to add him.
As Child's right. He was very resistant, though, and as much as I adore the character, and he's great in everything he does, the guy he's just a character's actor. But watching that fight again, that back alley brawl, it does make me wonder, like, all right, how many punches to the face would it be to really just get me to try these stupid glasses on? Because the guy is fighting with every fiber of his being. He's like, he does not want to put those glasses on.
That's what he's got, though, man. He's not going to let people. He's been forced to live in workplaces and like be homeless to supply for his family. He's not just going to let some dude run over him. If he can still control that, he's not going to let it happen.
I don't know. I just would have put the glasses on.
All right, my next one is Jimmy Woo, played by Randall Park in Ant-Man the Wasp. So.
Another Ant-Man the Wasp?
I was going to add them all. I was going to add T.I. I was going to add the Baba Yaga guy. I was going to add everybody. But I think Randall Park is awesome. I think he's funny. I think I really enjoyed the Always Be My Maybe. But in this one, he's just funny. So a former S.H.I.E.L.D. member who wasn't evil, right? He gets recruited by the FBI, and he's tasked with watching over Ant-Man. That's a big job. So this guy is a very high-ranking person who has been through a lot of shit. But he still keeps his kind of earnestness and likability. But he also, he was part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Dude's a badass. So I like that. Here's a guy that could wreck house if you need him to, but he hasn't done that yet, and he stays true to who he is. And he's also very interested in magic, close-up magic, which I think is interesting. But I got to include him there. Also, he said he's a local youth pastor, which makes it pretty interesting. My next one is Samantha LaForge from Take Shelter, played by Jessica Chastain. That's one of my favorite movies, like Wreck My Life. But she's just like, what I like about Jeff Nichols' movies are they don't downplay the Midwest or the area of the South. I mean, he actually creates real characters. They're not like, oh, I'm a Southerner. Somehow I live in the North, I live in the, whatever, some
They're not
farmland.
looked down on.
Yeah, like the regular people. But in this one, she's just very supportive of her husband, who may or may not be diagnosed with schizophrenia. And it's just a really great kind of performance by Chastain. And as much as I love Shannon in it, she's equally as good, but I don't think she's gotten enough credit. So I had to throw her in there. And then I think my last one is Karen Sisko from Out of Sight, played by Jennifer Lopez. Just a badass U.S. Marshal, dude. Hanging out in
I forgot that movie existed.
Hanging out with Clooney, being awesome, wiping people out.
Hanging out with Clooney? Don't they get in the bathtub together?
Yeah, but she gets the job done. She knows what's up. She arrests him at the end, and then she hooks him up with a guy that's been out of 9 prisons. It's just a good performance. I think it's cool that she's this badass U.S. Marshal. Jennifer Lopez was awesome in it. I mean, that's a good movie right there, Out of Sight. So I like having that. So those are my 10 Americans that I picked.
Well, I'm glad I didn't try the fool's errand of coming up with my own list. I'm not sure how I could compete with that.
I mean, I was gonna go silly, then I was gonna go serious. So I'm like, I'm gonna go. And you thought I was gonna bring Jack Burton in. I took him out, added someone else. But I think if you put all these people in the movie, you have a very interesting view of America.
It's the melting pot it was always destined to be.
I think it's a good selection here. I dig it. I would love to see this movie, actually, because I like all these characters.
It's the Mark Cinematic Universe.
Hey, the MC... Well, it's still the MCU. Let's do HCU, Hoffmeyer Cinematic Universe.
Oh dear.
I like it.
I'm not sure that rolls off the tongue quite as well, but this is your universe.
Hoffmeyer Cinematic Universe, the HCU.
Hey, Becky, we're all getting tickets for this Friday. Do you want to go see the latest Hoffmeyer Cinematic Universe movie?
Which one? Is Keith David or Tracy Flick?
Oh my gosh, I love Keith David. He's my favorite. I ship him so hard.
Oh man, I'm telling you, dude, this movie's gonna make tens of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there. All right. So, anything else about Rocketeer before we go?
No. I guess if anybody at Disney's listening, can you just give us something in the form of a respectable home video release? Because bare bones Blu-ray ain't cutting it. And what? How many years has it been? What's the next anniversary milestone?
91. So in 2 years it'll be 30.
Okay, so we got 2 years. Come on, guys, let's get this together. It's not hard.
Mondo, vinyl, soundtrack.
Yeah, that'd be great. They know what they're doing.
And they've
I'll wait for that.
They do Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm gonna get that. So.
They just did that, yeah.
Yeah, great. I love some Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But yeah, a respectable home video release is probably up there for me. Let's give us a behind the scenes, give us a documentary retrospect, some interviews with the cast. Come on, it's not hard. There's plenty of material out there.
I agree. That was good. All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Adam.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Adam.
For Adam, Mad Dog Clement. This is Movies, Films, Flicks. We'll see you when we talk about The Phantom next. Bye.